All right. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the power of discipline and how important it is for us to discipline every aspect of our lives. Also, it's important for us to understand that discipline is self-control. And we know this, right? Discipline is self-control. There are so many different definitions for discipline, but the one that I want to stick with tonight is the ability to be consistent with enforcing order. The ability to be consistent with enforcing order. And to me, it sounds like a lot like obedience, your discipline. When I looked up discipline as a verb, the meaning is to train or to develop by instruction. To train or develop by instruction. That's what it means as a verb. There's one ingredient in the process of creating change. The one ingredient in the process of creating change is discipline. If you want change, you have to be disciplined. If you want to reach a goal, you have to be disciplined. So in order to be disciplined, you have to execute your self-control, which is something that many of us lack. That's one of the biggest barriers and challenges that many people have is the lack of self-control. You ask yourself how many times you've committed to do a thing and did not follow through. How many times you said you weren't going to do something and you ended up doing it. That's the lack of self-control. And also, it's a lack of commitment to you, to yourself. A lot of times we make commitments to ourselves that we don't keep. Right? When you think about things that you created a plan, you created a list of things that you want to accomplish this year. Sometimes people, this month or next month. What prevents you from reaching those goals? Do you feel like in order to get these goals met, you need somebody or you need you?
For me, it's I need me.
Okay. You need you. And you need you to do what? And what kind of position do you need to be in?
I need to keep myself positioned in the right place and stay in order that I need to be and start getting out of order and out of position and out of line.
Okay. All right. And would you both say that you need yourself or you need other people?
I would say I need a system. That's the one thing that I've been noticing with me. It's like even if I tried to rely on me, I can't do that. I need a system. A system has to be in place for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, you should know what you need to get the job done. A lot of times people say, I work better if I have an accountability partner. That works for a lot of people. I do better if I have a set of reminders. I do better if I have a routine. Some people just can't take the day as the day comes. So you got to know what works for you. Miriam, what works for you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a whole system. I mean, for one to follow through myself with, whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, and then also you, it's always good to have a system where you have help, connections or people who are positioned differently that can help you to get to where you want to go or have information. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, structured systems and habits, values and behaviors all drive consistency and productivity. So having a system creates the productivity that you need. I know you all have one particular goal in mind that you know you need to accomplish. And so if you need you to get it done, that means you're going to have to put the work in to make sure you have all of the necessary tools and ingredients it takes to get that thing done. A lot of times people are working on better eating habits, working on losing weight. You work on securing better income, better revenue, better jobs. All of that consists of a system where you have to recreate what has already been created. And it also requires self-control. We cannot allow our emotions and our feelings and the weather to dictate what we're going to do if we say we're going to do it. A lot of times people say, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym, but it rained that day. It rained, so I didn't go to the gym. What does the rain have to do with what your goal was? So we got to learn how to recondition ourselves to not to allow things, because things are going to continue to happen. We can't allow things to hold us up. We got to still move. And believe it or not, when those things come up, those things are coming up to prevent you from reaching your goal. So for me, it's like when those things come up, that means I really need to press harder now. I got to really go, because this thing right here came to impede my movement toward my goal. So I can't let that happen. I was going to talk about some of like the psychology of discipline, but that's going to require a whole lot, and I don't want to go all into it. Procrastination is a big one. Write procrastination down. Let's talk about what procrastination means to you and how it affects your life. Does anybody have any idea of what procrastination means to them?
I mean, I think it's just procrastinating is a really annoying thing. And then once you get it done, it's always like, why haven't I? You know,
Right.
right? Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
could be the smallest things like having a cold and turning on the humidifier overnight, and you wait a week and then you finally do it and you're like, I could have felt this much better a week ago had I just turned on that thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right. Procrastination is delaying or postponing a task, despite knowing that it is important for you to get a particular thing done. Like if we say, I'll do it later. How often have we said that? I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm going to rest a little longer and I'll get up an hour later and finish it. And usually something comes in to interfere with what it is that you need to do. Procrastination is a killer of all goals. And it also it waters down your motivation. And that's something that we need. In order to be disciplined, you have to be motivated. And when you're motivated, you stay focused. When you stay focused, you manage your time better. When you manage your time better, you refuse to become overwhelmed. When you refuse to become overwhelmed, you are creating self-discipline. Okay? Let me make sure I don't have anybody else in the waiting room. Okay. All right. Today, I want to talk about the stages of change model. The stages of change. And the very first stage of change is the pre-contemplation stage. Pre-contemplation. Now, this stage says that you're not really thinking about change for real. You know how when you tell your children to do something and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna change. You know when they're serious and when they're not. So there's the pre-contemplation stage. And when we get done with all 6 stages, I want you to tell me where you fall. Number 2 is the contemplation stage. This is where you're actually considering it more. I know I got to do this. I know I got to stop doing this. So this is what I'm going to do. You start thinking about ways of making life better for yourself. Number 2, contemplation. Number 3 is the preparation stage. Now, this is the stage where you're actually getting ready to do it. All right, I know I got to go to the gym. So now what I'm doing, I am making, I'm getting a gym membership. That will be your preparation. You're preparing yourself to do it. The 4th stage is action. The action stage is where we're actually putting in the work. We're doing it. We're putting the work in. The 5th stage is maintenance. The maintenance stage, unfortunately, is the hardest stage of change because this is where we got to keep it going. You know how you guys have been doing something for so long, and then you're like, well, I ain't really seen no change. And then when you don't really see the results that you're looking for, you kind of end it. Well, the maintenance stage is the stage where you have to really go into 3rd gear. And this is very important for discipline, the maintenance stage. And the sixth stage would be knowing that there's no going back. That means, bam, I got it. I did it. Wow. Woo. Amazing. And that's when you begin to applaud yourself too. You're like, thank you, girl. You did good. I'm so happy for you. You did good. So I want you to identify where you are. What stage are you in out of these six? And let's talk about the stages that you're in. So we had the pre-contemplation stage, the contemplation stage, preparation, action, maintenance, and termination.
I would say usually getting stuck somewhere between 2 and 3, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Considering and then getting ready to get it done.
Yeah, starting something, preparing, but then not really executing it.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm in 2 and 3. I'm getting to 4.
Okay. All right. 2
Same
and 3.
here, the preparation, and I could get prepared, start doing it, but then finishing through with the execution.
Okay. All right. And so where you guys get stuck is the place where I need for you guys to focus more on. So we already know the pre-contemplation stage. We got it. We passed that. The contemplation stage, okay, we understand. I'm considering it, which is a great thing to do. I'm so happy that you've considered doing this. But the preparation part is I'm getting ready to do it. We can't get stuck there because we're always getting ready to do something. So if we really want change, we got to go to step 4, which is the action. And that's where I want you guys to be at tonight. I want you guys to make sure that we end up putting the work in. Doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how much energy I have to exert. That means that I'm dedicated and committed to putting the work in. I got to get it done. There's no other options. And I think if we don't give ourselves additional options to get things done, then we make that our priority. So you got to make a commitment to yourself tonight that I'm going to get it done. There's no failure in me. There's no more excuses. I don't have any more excuses. The excuses do not make me a better person. The excuses does not get me to my next goal. The excuses will end up terminating my life sooner rather than later, terminating my goals, my aspirations, my desires. So I want you guys to keep those 6 stages of change at the forefront of your mind so you'll know exactly where you are. All right, I want to talk about the 4 pillars of discipline too. We have personal discipline, we have moral and ethical discipline, we have relational discipline, we have financial and stewardship discipline. Personal discipline, moral and ethical discipline, relational discipline, financial and stewardship discipline. Now, the personal discipline is something that we all, I'm pretty sure all of us have worked hard at, and maybe we need to go back and revisit it. But this is the waking up early. This is the waking up, being committed, not just waking up, getting on social media or getting up, listening to music. This is intentional getting up, that you're getting up with a purpose. And when you get up, you're going to actively listen to see what it is that you need to do for that day. You're going to set intentional goals for that day. This is your personal discipline. Even if it's getting up, working out, getting up, meditating, getting up, getting coffee and praying, getting up, sitting at your table with your notebook. Personal discipline, you owe that to you. And most of the time, we don't have that until it's too late. The second one is moral and ethical discipline. This is when you operate with integrity. Because believe it or not, people that are highly disciplined and have self-control, they understand the importance of good character and integrity. We cannot scam everybody. We cannot use the system forever. Okay? So making sure that your decision making is in order too, that you're making healthy decisions because you're disciplining yourself, your mind, and your values and your principles are all aligned. The third one is relational discipline. And this is a very important one too, because it talks about us maintaining healthy relationships, being intentional about the relationships that we have. How many of you guys have some relationships that are not healthy? That'll be all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's some
Yep.
relationship. You'd be like, this isn't a good relationship. Yeah. So as we are building our own personal brand, our own personal life, our own personal story, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to these 4 pillars too, because your discipline can be highly connected to these areas of your life. The fourth one would be the financial and stewardship discipline. How well do you manage your resources? You have to ask yourself, are you an impulse shopper? Do you spend on impulse? Do you save? Do you pay your debts? Do you give? Are y'all all saying yes to this? Like, yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
yes, yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Time management. Let's talk about time management and how well we manage our time and where are the holes in our time and why do we allow these holes to exist? Y'all ain't saying a word. Y'all tired?
Oh, I thought you were going to go in detail and start explaining, but you
Yeah,
all.
I didn't know there was a question.
Yeah. I asked, I said, for you personally, where do you find that the holes? Why do we feel like we start things and we stop?
I think so. I mean, for me, sometimes it's just getting so overwhelmed with so much, and then I just don't do anything.
Becoming overwhelmed. That means,
Yeah, and it's like, just looking at the whole mountain instead of just one step at it, and the one that's in front of me, I think. Yeah. So trying to work on that, but yeah. Takes time. It's hard to,
control.
forget everything that's on our plate, I think at times. And that's just discouraging when you know how much you have ahead of you. Or for me.
I would say for me it's distractions. Being distracted, like literally going from just one thing to the next. And before I realized I'm looking like, oh, you still haven't finished that. However, you started on something else. Like stop being really distracted.
Okay, we back. Can y'all hear me? Because mine just went out and came back in.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Miriam, I heard you. What was yours? Greta, what did you say?
My time management, I'll start something and then it'll be like, okay, I'm tired. Let me stop for a minute, then I'll go back and get to it. And, by me being by myself, I don't have that, that drive and that push that I need to have. Because I just sit here and say, well, I'll get to it. I don't have to make that a priority right now because it's just me right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was different, when I had, you know, my children with me, or whatever, but just by myself, I always say, hey, I can do it later. I don't have to do it right now. I don't have to make that a priority, but I need to get out of that because that's bad. And I'm trying to get to where I need to change that.
Yeah, that's good. Because you know what? It doesn't matter if you have someone in your environment or not. It's you committing to yourself. Like we got to break the patterns and just make sure that you're going to make the commitment to yourself. I know I can do it later, but I'm going to do it now. And then tell yourself why you're going to do it now. One of the rules that I use, I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execute. Anytime I'm struggling with something, I'm like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execute. I don't give myself any excuse. And I don't always feel my best. I'm not always highly energetic. I'm not always motivated. But I realize that there are some things that I want to obtain, and I can't have an excuse to get in my way.
That's good.
Okay. What about you, Rosalind?
Can y'all hear me? Because this Wi-Fi is so sketchy. I'm on 1 minute and disconnecting the next. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I was saying distractions were I feel like my downfall when I'm working on something and I don't finish because I get distracted by something else. And it's like I take on too many things at one time. So I'm trying to juggle this task and this assignment and this and that. And it's like nothing really gets completed because I'm trying to do too many things at once. So now I'm challenging myself to like not start on anything until that one thing is completed. And I tell myself, you don't get to not you don't have the option to leave a task incomplete. You have to finish now.
That's good. Yep, get it done. No
Mhm.
excuse. Get it done. Very important to do that. So what you guys need to do is to make sure that you're making more commitments to yourself. One of the things I want you to know too, the individuals that are disciplined have great self-love. You can find where you have holes in your ability to love self based on your ability to stay committed and disciplined. So the next time you say, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna commit to something, I'm gonna get to it later, I want you to always ask yourself, how much do you love you? I don't care if it's like, let me go and pull the garbage. It could be something that insignificant. It's bigger than that. And a lot of times our minds would make us think that, oh, it's just that you can do that later. No, it's bigger than that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So do it. Do it now. Don't do it later. We should not, only thing you need to do later is go to bed later. I'm gonna go to sleep later. And one of the things I do, I make sure that with my checklist in a day, I used to overbook myself. And I'm better, but it's still bad. I make sure that I have completed the task that I committed to doing in the day before I lay down. I committed to do
That's
these
good.
things, and so I'm committing to myself. I cannot expect people to commit to me if I can't commit to myself. I do not like displeasing myself. I don't like disappointing myself. So I'm committing to myself first. And before I commit to somebody else, I'm committing to Daedrin. Always. If I tell you I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. If I tell you I'm not gonna do it, I'm not going to do it. I don't overcommit when people say, hey, let's do this. Can you do this? Can we do this? I'm like, give me a minute. Let me see. Let me see what's going on because my schedule can be a lot. And then it could be nothing on my schedule, but maybe that's my self-care day. I can't do it. So saying no, you guys got to be comfortable with saying no. This isn't a good time. You don't have to even give people no long, drawn out explanation, and neither do you have to lie. Don't plant no seeds of deception just because you don't want to do something. I don't want to do it.
That's my thing I need to work on. I'm not good at telling people no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not good at that at all. I'll say, "Oh, give me a minute, okay?" Then I'll do it. Okay, I'll go, even though I don't want to. So I've always been I've been really bad at that. So I really need to work on that.
Okay. Well, make sure you write that down for one of your goals. That's one of your goals. So how I help people address that is in a week, you got, excuse me, you got so many no's you got to say. Don't come back to me unless you got them. Don't dial me, don't text me. You talking? How many no's you got this week? Yeah, you should be able to gauge how many no's you're going to put out there because you got to have more obligation to yourself than to others. We're not here to people please because I don't care how much you do for an individual, it's never going to be enough. All right. So I just need y'all to know why we are not completing these tasks. Go deeper into even your DNA, into your family history, just to see who were goal-oriented individuals in your family, if you can identify? If there were nobody, it's going to be harder for you. It's going to be difficult if you didn't see people like going to college or having high-end jobs or buying homes or cars. But it has to start somewhere. And if you are the one to break the cycle, it's going to be really hard for you, but you can do it. If you have a desire, anything that you guys have a desire to do, you could do it. And I hope you heard that. Whatever your desires are inside of your heart, you didn't just grab them and place them in your heart. God did. So if you have those desires, God placed them there. And guess what? They are going to come to pass if you breathe on them and don't procrastinate and put them on the back burner or say, I'll do it later.
Can I say something?
Yes.
One of the things that I'm learning in my life with like my challenges and struggles with like completing tasks is I'm looking at it through the lens of stewardship. And I was having a conversation with God today, like, God, I want to everything that you give me, whether it's an assignment, I don't care what it is, stewardship. And a lot of times we associate stewardship with money, but
Mm-hmm.
God wants to see how well you can steward over an idea he gave you, a
Mm-hmm.
word, an assignment, whatever. So that's how I'm trying to look at it now. And I'm hoping that'll give me more of a dedicated push to like finish, because it's like, well, how well are you stewarding over this that God gave you? And he's really just trying to see, can I trust you with this? So just being a better steward over everything is how I'm like reframing the way that I
That is good. That is good. I mean,
complete
reframing,
my tasks.
that's good. Reframing and reconditioning could be something that we do every day. You have to tell yourself, I'm not going to think like I thought yesterday. Even if you thought high and it was elevated, that was yesterday's thought. Today, I'm going to think better. Today, I'm going to do better. Why? Because those gifts, those dreams and desires was given to you by your father. Don't you want to please him?
Mm-hmm.
Every task, every duty, every assignment. If you say, hey, I need to make sure I put gas, if you have a car, I don't, but if you have a car and you was like, you know what, let me go and put some gas in the car. And you do want to, but you'll do it later or you will do it tomorrow. And have y'all been like that? You just don't want to do it right away. Okay. You look at it in terms of a lot of people don't have a car. So be thankful that you do. The other thing is you got to be a good steward over their car, because when that car runs low on gas, a lot of different toxins get into the system. So you looking at, oh, I'll do it later. Really? You're gonna mess the engine up too. You never know what that car you need to do. That's what I'm saying. It can go from the very smallest, insignificant thing to something grand. Postponing and delaying things isn't for the strong of heart. It's for the weak of heart. Stop putting things off. Miriam, hopefully you did those things I told you to do earlier today. Don't put them off. Okay. We got to make sure that we're staying committed to ourselves first. So discipline starts with us looking in the mirror, creating a system, having self-control, making sure we stay committed to the routine. Tell me what happens on those days when we cannot stay committed to the routine. What do we do? What's our backup? We can't stay committed to the routine. So then what? We just lay down and watch Netflix?
No, we got to stay committed to the
Oh,
routine. It shouldn't even be a backup by any means necessary. We should be able to get it done. Got to lose some sleep, lose some sleep. You got to forfeit some opportunities, just get it done.
got to get it done. But in the event that there is excuses that people have made, Rosalind, what's the backup for the next
Frustration.
Priority. Go
hmm?
ahead.
For the
I would
next
say
okay, everybody trying to talk. Okay, Miriam, what were you saying?
I would say frustration, disappointment in yourself, in myself. I would say.
No. If you don't get a specific task done and
Mm-hmm.
you veer away from the routine,
Mm-hmm.
what is the backup? Has to be a backup plan. So I didn't do A. My
Mm.
plan was to do A. What is your B? What does B look like?
Well, I still have to do it. It still has to get done, right? Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to yes, right?
Like Rosalind, by any means
Mm,
necessary.
mm, mm.
Okay, I didn't do it today. You better do it tomorrow for sure. You better do it tomorrow. And put a little cherry on it when you do it tomorrow, okay? There's no excuses. We don't give excuses out. We don't want to receive excuses, and neither should we spew them out of our mouths. Excuses are not designed for the individuals that are wanting to reach goals, to be trailblazers, to be amazing individuals in the earth, and to leave an imprint. If you want to be ordinary and you just want to be just somebody, just to be just somebody, don't follow me. I'm serious. Just don't follow me. Because that's just not who I am. I want to max out it. When I die, I want to be on empty. Every gift and everything that the Lord has put into inside of me, I want it done. And when you think about all of the things that you have lost and you have invested in this life this far, why wouldn't you? If he's promised us great gifts, he's promised us love, abundance, grace, mercy, the abundant of life. What I need to do? Where I sign up? I'm ready. The Bible says, with long life, he will satisfy you. It says, early in the morning shall we seek him,
Mhm.
and we shall find him. Why? Because before anything else start popping off, the phone ringing, your mind racing, you washing clothes, you trying to tend to kids. He said, no. I want you before then, before your mind start racing.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Here's some steps I want you guys to take when we're activating this new level of discipline in our lives. The very first one, I want you to identify the areas where you struggle the most. We all have struggle areas. You just have to identify that area where you struggle the most. This don't have anything to do with anyone else. I have found that most people struggle with follow through and staying on task. They may be great starters, but they are not at all enders at all. So I want you guys to identify that area that where you struggle the most. Number two, set yourself up for success, which means you got to create manageable goals. They got to make sense. Everybody wants to be a million zillionaire. It don't happen overnight. You're looking at a 1 millionaire here. It did not happen overnight. It was a system in place daily. When I was sick, when I was depressed, when I was sad, when I was let down, when I betrayed, the mission still continued. I had a goal. Nothing should stop you when you have a goal. If the goal is really, really yours, and if it's really for you, nothing can stop you. So a lot of times I ask people, is that really your goal? Because if that's really your goal, you won't stop. And if that goal is really for you, you won't stop. So set yourself up for success, which means that you got to get adequate sleep and rest because they're different. You got to make sure that your mental health is in check. It's extremely important. The third one is make sure that you're eating nutritional meals. Stop eating that garbage. Cigarettes, marijuana, gummies, alcohol to death, wine all day long, candy, chewing gum, potato chips, garbage. Number three, I want you guys to notice the thoughts and the emotions that drain you of your discipline. It's kind of like those, what do we call them? I don't know. It's like they're the stealers of dreams. You got to notice those thoughts that usually come right when you've committed to something. I want you to start asking yourself, why now? Why is this thought coming now? What does it want with me? And another thing that I've done, I want you guys to pay attention to whatever emotion you are experiencing when you're starting your task. Like if it's something that you need to do, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Always check in with your emotions. That helps a lot with the discipline because I realize that uncomfortable emotions creates the lack of discipline within the individual. If you feel like it's going to take you all out of your element, you're not going to be as eager to do it. But I'm telling you, those are the times when you really should be doing it. So that was number 3. Number 4 is write things down and set reminders like you're doing now. Everybody's writing now. Make sure you're writing things down. If you guys don't already have a book that's solely for goals, I encourage you to get one. Just for your goals. Setting reminders, you can set them on your phone. If you have Alexa or Google, you can set it there. If you have a friend accountability partner, you can set them there. On calendars, please put things on your calendars to keep you reminded and keep you in a fresh space to know that, okay, I know that I got to check my calendar every day because I know I have my things to do on my calendar. That's number 4. Number 5, practice delayed gratification. This is a good one, which means do things that you don't instantly feel so good about. Because we always want something to feel good real quick. Wait for the reward. I'd rather for my reward to build up versus me getting it all the time, immediate. Like when you tell your kids, if you do good in school this whole week, you're going to get something versus saying you're going to get something every day. You're not getting everything every day. You're not. We're not doing that. That's not even how God wants us to be. He doesn't want us to be, if you do this, I'll do that. He wants you to just do it. That's called obedience and not disobedience. He doesn't want us to rebel against the things that we know that we need to do. For those that need to tell people no, you need to make a list, okay? If I don't feel in my spirit that I want to do something, the answer is no. That's when you begin to find out who's really on your side and who isn't. Because for real, I try to do things to get people off my side. I'm trying to weed out the weeds. I don't need you following me if you ain't ready. Okay? I'm gonna pause here and ask you guys to ask questions, or if you have any comments, this is the time for you to speak. But one of the before we go into the open discussion, I want everybody to create a morning routine. And whatever your morning routine is, share it with me. I want to make sure you're doing it because I'm going to pray that you're doing it. Okay? All right, that's it. Now, somebody's going to say something, then I said something.
You said you want to know what our morning routine is?
I want you guys to create a morning routine after this class, and then I want you to share it with me what it is. What do you do when you get up out of bed? Right now, tell me what you guys do when you get up. What do you do, Tanira? What's the first thing you do when you get out of bed?
When I open my eyes and take off my CPAP, I thank the Lord for waking me up. Then immediately my mind gets flooded with the things I have to do that day. You know, I open my I open my curtains, I look out into nature. I'll go make myself a cup of tea and then maybe sit and read for a little bit and try to silence some of those thoughts, and put things in order, put things in some kind of order for today. Sometimes I'll create a list, make a list in my phone, and then I'll check off as I go along throughout the day.
Okay. But did y'all hear what she said? When she get up, she give God praise And then her mind goes to all of the things she got to do that day. You see how we so conditioned with the list of things? That is not living, because we all have it. Before we go to bed, we're thinking about what we're going to do the next day. When we wake up, we're thinking about what we're going to do. When do we ever just sit in the moment of life and just enjoy the moment of life? When do we ever get a chance to do that? Never? When you're
I
taking
would
a shower?
say the top of the morning, really. Like
Okay.
what Tanera was saying and that's the same thing for me. I don't even feel right if I wake up and I don't acknowledge God. I don't care what time of the morning I wake up. Lately, he's been pulling on me in this 4 o'clock hour. And I'm just like, okay, I have my alarm set for 5, but I'll go ahead and get up at 4. And I find it to just be so much more peaceful because when I do get up and start moving around, distractions, 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 and it takes my mind completely off of God. And if I just give myself an hour to be uninterrupted, quiet, still, I go wash my face and brush my teeth. I'm like, God, I can't come to you any type of way. So let me get up, honey, and go freshen myself up. Let me grab my essential oils. Okay, I'm awakened. Now you have my undivided attention and I'm here. But that time in the morning before the hustle and bustle of the world and the kids and the alarms and all the other things, that's like the best time to really have with God.
It is absolutely the best time. It is
Mm.
so fresh, it's pure, it's so serene. So that is true. Anybody else want to share what their hi, Miss Audra, for joining us, what your morning routine is? And if that morning routine that you have now, is it working for you?
Yeah, I think as Tanira, it's really exactly the same. I wake up and just, realizing it's a new day and just thanking God for that. And then from there immediately this and this, all the things. And then getting tired again just from thinking about
All the things.
because the mind doesn't rest, and waking up and just within just laying thinking I just want to go back to sleep. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
so I guess I'm not the only one.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody else want to share what their morning routine looks like?
Well, when I wake up in the mornings, the first thing I do when I open my eyes, I thank God for a new day. I say my prayers, and usually one of my devotions have already popped up that I do every day. So I read my devotion, then I listen to a second one, and then I'll follow through with scripture on the second one. And after that, I'll get up and do my stretches in the morning and just listen to some good gospel music or instrumental gospel music and just try to be still and listen for any word from the Lord.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Yeah, and it seems to me that everybody wakes up with the right idea, at least acknowledging God, being thankful and grateful. I want you guys to incorporate one thing. I want you to wake up and I want you to meditate.
Okay.
I want you to incorporate meditation.
When you say meditation, is that like for me, uh I'm he usually gets me up somewhere between the 2 and the 5. So whenever he gets me up, I get up and I say, "Thank you, Jesus. It's a new day." Give him all of my praise and blessings. And then once I get up and I went to the bathroom, then I just go around the house and just praising him and thanking him for everything, that I have. It's a new day. I got you woke me up, you called my name, and I'm here. So and then I just go ahead and I start to my reading. I do my devotionals, then I get into my Bible reading, and then I just sit and I just say, okay, it's me and you. So I just want to hear from you. So I don't even turn the TV on anymore, and that's crazy for me because all my life I have to have noise. I thought I had noise.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I always had the TV on all night long. even into adulthood, I always had the TV on. It's like I always had to have noise. If I didn't, I felt like I started hearing things. But now, with these past few months, I can go to sleep without that TV on. I can wake up. I don't have to have that TV on. I sit here and I just talk with God and I just listen to Him because I just want more of Him. So I don't, that TV doesn't even phase me anymore. I don't even, I used to come home and plan, oh, my show's coming on at 6 o'clock. I got to make sure. I I don't do that anymore. I don't have a show that that oh my gosh, I got to see, I
Mhm.
used to. I don't get into all of that. So now I'm glad about that because I used to be connected to that TV. That
Mhm.
that was my, I guess, my friend, but now I know that I'm getting closer to God, so I don't need that TV. It's just Him, so I can just sit in this quiet and just have my peaceful time with Him and enjoy my time with Him. And
Mhm.
I don't need to hear anything. Just
Mhm.
be quiet so I can hear His voice and what it is that He needs from me and what I need to do for Him. And I am so content with that.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing. That's really good. That's powerful. We're going to go over some barriers. We're going to go over some internal barriers and we're going to go over some external barriers. And if with our discipline, one of the internal barriers that we have is perfectionism. Do we have anyone on here that suffers from that demon? It's got to be perfect. Everything has to be aligned. Everything has to be in order. I have to have all the things that I need. Okay, good. I'm glad nobody. Okay. All right. So the one of the internal barriers would be perfectionism. The second one would be the lack of prioritizing. The third would be emotional resistance. And that means just avoiding the task because of fear, stress, uncertainties. So we got the first one, perfectionism, the lack of prioritizing, three, emotional resistance, four, decision fatigue. Have you guys ever experienced that? Where making too many decisions sometimes make you feel inadequate or have less self-control because you're like, I really don't know which way to go. You're trying to figure it out. Those are
Mhm.
internal barriers. Those are some of the things that go on that we don't see, we don't recognize in our conscious. All right. And so we have four external barriers, distractions, which would be the TV, emails, phone calls, social media, movies, meetings, your boo. You're supposed to be boo. You want to be boo. Dating sites, all of that. Those will be your distractions externally. Number two, lack of clear goals and deadlines. A lot of times we may have goals, but we don't have a deadline. Please make sure that if you have a goal, make sure you add a deadline to it. Very important. Number three, overcommitting. That would be the lady who said that earlier. I ain't gonna call
Mm.
your name, but you know who you, the lady that don't know how to say no. Overcommitting.
Lord,
That be.
Saying yes too many times.
don't be me.
That's me.
Oh man, two of y'all, my goodness. All right. Now the fourth one will be environments that does not support your discipline. Stop connecting to things and people that do not align with where you're going.
Mm,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Amen.
that's good.
Proverbs 16:32 says, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. I want you guys to meditate on that tonight and in the morning. Try to get as much revelation as you can as it relate to you, as it relate to that scripture. Proverbs 16:32. After you meditate on that, I want you to write about what you heard, what came up in your spirit. And then I want you to write how you're going to apply that to your life.
Mm.
And as an assignment, because we're getting ready to close, I want you guys to track in 1 week, 7 days, on the hour, what you do, how you spending your time. Ooh, when I did this some years ago, I was like, this makes no sense. We got 24 hours in a day. Why in the hell you ain't done doing the stuff you said you're gonna do? You got 24 hours.
That's
If you start documenting and monitoring what you do with your time, you'll be like, yeah, it's me. It's me. It ain't nobody else.
yep.
Uh-huh.
Guilty.